what you see on the screen is my current, newest, full protocol. And as I told you in the previous protocol video, my protocol will keep changing and updating over time. So I want to make an updated video on the current protocol, what has changed, and what I will be adding in future. So you can ignore the colors. With the colors, I'm just checking if I have enough of the stock left. So whatever is in green, I have at least like 3 months left, so I don't have to worry about buying it again soon. So the testosterone stays at the same dose, 350 milligrams a week. Finasteride is there, exemestane is there, is like, that's the same things as before. Nothing has changed regarding that. I'm not going to really be discussing things that haven't changed because you can just watch the previous video for the protocol where I was explaining what each thing does, because now I will be focused more on explaining what each thing does for the things that I will be adding in future or that I changed. So ezetimibe is the first new thing here that I added because I figured out that it will be cheaper and more effective to remove the citrus bergamot phytosome supplement and replace it with ezetimibe. Ezetimibe is going to be far more effective, far stronger, and far cheaper for the same thing of controlling LDL, let's say controlling ApoB, lowering LDL, keeping HDL fine. Ezetimibe basically blocks like the absorption of cholesterol in your small intestine, which would be a bad idea to do if you are natural, but if you are on steroids, you really don't need the extra cholesterol because you are not producing the hormones. So ezetimibe is one of the best ancillaries to use when you are using testosterone or other things, because you don't need that cholesterol to produce testosterone naturally, so it would be just a waste to have all of that extra cholesterol. So it's a pretty good addition to the stack instead of the citrus bergamot, which is pretty expensive, the citrus bergamot phytosome, and this is probably more effective. Then most of the other things haven't really changed. So yeah, I don't think anything changed other than this in the current stack. But then let's be discussing things that I'm adding back later that I removed, stuff like that. I can't, oh yeah, okay. So what I'm adding back later is dihydroberberine, red yeast rice, acetyl L-carnitine, and magnesium L-threonate. So the dihydroberberine and the red yeast rice I bought again, so I have those, but I won't be using them until I get back into like a full stack, because I don't think they are not mandatory. Like there is some things here that are mandatory, like the omega-3, the NAC, magnesium, like those things are really mandatory. But these things not as much. Especially since I added the ezetimibe, the red yeast rice is not really needed because testosterone does not impact cholesterol that badly. And I'm going to be adding red yeast rice when I use microdose Tren again. Because for testosterone itself, like generally you wouldn't really need anything to support your cholesterol because testosterone doesn't really fuck it up. But for me personally, genetically, that cholesterol balance is not really the best because my HDL was also kind of low naturally. So it would be for the best to have the ezetimibe in the stack all the time because it's pretty cheap as well. Regarding the other things here, acetyl L-carnitine and magnesium L-threonate are the brain support for when using Tren. So they are pretty cool, but I don't see the point of using them when I'm not using a microdose of Tren, because I stopped taking some of these things that you can see here, like the Tren, the cardarine, the retatrutide, trazodone, vitamin C. I'm just forgetting to take, so I put it here. But the Tren, why did I stop taking it now? Because I will do the gyno surgery and another tiny surgery, so I'm not going to be training for a few weeks. So there is no point to be taking Tren when you are not training, because you would just be wasting it, because you are not going to grow muscle, and the testosterone is more than enough to keep the muscle that you have. So there is really no point to be taking Tren when not training. So that's the reason I paused the Tren. Then the cardarine, I ran out of it, so I'll probably just be buying it again when I get the Tren. Reta, I will be pausing this until I make a bulk order from China, because this Reta source that I had here is pretty expensive. And the last time I ordered, I think it was fake. I mean, at least I couldn't feel anything from it. So I will not be using that until I make a bulk order from China. I already have a plan what I will order. It's going to be a lot of Reta, probably 200 milligrams of Reta, 20 milligrams times 10. I will be ordering injectable glutathione. Glutathione is probably the best support when using Tren, so I will probably look young as fuck and gonna look and feel amazing with that. And I will be getting MOTS-C, amazing peptide for supercharging your mitochondria, energy output, fat loss, amazing peptide. And I will be also getting GHK-Cu for looks maxing, just to have nicer skin in here. So those are some of the peptides I will be ordering. I think I put them, yeah, I put them here and in the didn't add yet. We will get to that soon. The trazodone I ran out. And I don't need a trazodone when I'm not using Tren, because my sleep is pretty good. But on Tren, the sleep is pretty bad, so I will probably be getting that again when I do the Tren again. Regarding the other things here, we will discuss that now. So MOTS-C, I'm going to be getting that peptide when I make a bulk order from China, as well as Reta, as well as GHK-Cu, and glutathione. So glutathione, if you are not taking anything, if you are natural, I guess you could take it for the longevity benefits, for like being more youthful, because it's incredible. Like, it's the strongest antioxidant that we have in our body. So it is amazing, but especially on Tren, because Tren can increase oxidative stress. Glutathione is like one of the best things you can do. So I will definitely be having that. Memantine. So this is really interesting. Memantine is actually an Alzheimer's drug, like used for people who have Alzheimer's to stop the disease from progressing. Now someone would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you take that? So basically, what I noticed from the Tren is that it makes you so supercharged, it turns you into a superhuman, like you are not human, you turn into an alien. The issue with that is that long term, if you use Tren, like, because nothing is really going to happen if you use it like 1 or 2 months and then never again. But let's say I would plan to definitely like be cycling it on and off in a microdose. Memantine blocks some of the calcium channels that would be frying your brain on Tren, because the Tren is like supercharging your like nervous system, and a lot of those things in the brain that are like firing calcium, they are like supercharged, so they are frying your brain with the calcium signaling, and memantine blocks that. It blocks that kind of like calcium signaling that would fry your brain, especially hippocampus, because Tren can cause cell death in hippocampus, which is basically like hippocampus is for memory, and people who get Alzheimer's, it's usually something related to the hippocampus. So if you take memantine to stop the Tren from frying your hippocampus slowly, you would prevent the main neurotoxic side effect of Tren. Like you would prevent the main possible side effect of Tren, which is the neurotoxicity to the hippocampus and the calcium signaling, and the oxidative stress in the brain should be taken care of by just taking the glutathione. So generally, like having the memantine, having something for sleep to prevent the bad sleep, having the antioxidants like the glutathione and the other supplements, taking care of the cholesterol, like generally when you do all of these things, you can definitely take the Tren and not get fucked. Like people who get fucked from Tren, like firstly, they are taking a huge dose. Like my dose of Tren, even without any support, you are not gonna get fucked. But if you take all of these support things, you can like get away with basically no side effects at all. So in my opinion, it's really smart to make like a full stack that covers all of the possible side effects, because then you can just like do it in a smart way. Like sure, would it be better to never take Tren? Yeah, but you want to be superhuman or you don't want to be superhuman? Like it's sometimes you just need to weigh out the pros and cons, and with all of these supplements and all of these things preventing the side effects, the potential side effects left are so small that the benefits far outweigh them. Like if you don't want to have any side effects, just go to a mountain, like live in some mountain, like become a monk, and then don't do anything with your life if you are afraid of all the small side effects. Because maybe today when you go to work, you can die in a car crash. Like if we are just gonna look at all the risks, like sure, everything still has risks, but if you make a stack like this, you are lowering the risks by so much that they become negligible compared to the benefits that you are getting. If your goal, if you don't give a shit about how you look physically, how you feel, you don't want to fuck like a superhuman, you don't want to feel like a superhuman, then you shouldn't take any of this and you will have lower risk, which is still bullshit, because if you are fat or skinny fat or just have an unhealthy diet, you will be far unhealthier than taking Tren and being healthy by having all of these supplements and having perfect blood work. So I hope that not many people who are dumb are watching this video, because I try to show my stack to the people who are actually smart and can make a similar stack for themselves and be supercharged, and I'm giving so much free value for that. But people who are dumb and watching these videos because they think I'm crazy or something like that, and they are just watching it for entertainment, those people will still think that these things are unhealthy and that it's so risky and that you shouldn't take any of this, and then that like it's just better to be a subhuman and look like shit, feel like shit all the time. Like I will never understand those people. But yeah, at least that's my mentality, is to be a superhuman, to be supercharged, and to do it in the smartest way possible, mitigating all the possible side effects, because there is a way to mitigate every side effect. So yeah, that's some of the things. Let's move on to the seltorexant, lemborexant. This would be Tren support for sleep. So because trazodone is not that strong, honestly, lemborexant also has a really, really clean way of acting. So it's not addictive. It doesn't knock you out. It doesn't ruin your sleep quality. What it does is it impacts the orexin receptor, and the orexin is basically the on-off switch for wakefulness. So you just sleep because it like turns off the switch for wakefulness. Like it's pretty simple, very clean mechanism of work. So unlike the benzodiazepines and like bullshit like that that destroy your sleep quality and cause like resistance over time and addiction, like this doesn't do that. So this is an amazing sleep supplement if I'm able to find it. And what I will be adding probably to is minoxidil and derma rolling, because I've never had like the best like hair density, because sure, my hair is pretty good, as you can see, I'm not balding, but I would be happier if I had like even more hair here and like on the top of my head. Like as you can see, like it's not bad, but I would personally be happier if it was like more, if it was even like more hair follicles here and here and here. So I would probably be putting like some minoxidil and derma rolling on the sides, just so I make sure that I don't end up in like 10 years having like the like those things. So I will definitely be doing minoxidil and derma rolling just preventatively, because yeah, my hair is good, but I want to like prevent it, because it's so much easier to prevent hair loss than to regrow it. Like if you lose the hair, like then you are fucked. Like it's really hard to get it back. But if you still have hair like me and you start doing all of the things against hair loss, then it's so much easier to just not lose the hair. So it's always the best to just prevent the hair loss than to be like, oh, I'm fine, and then when you go bald, then you try to reverse it. That's really hard to do. So I will be keeping track of that to not go bald and to keep my hair looking great. Here are some of the things I discontinued using. So I was explaining Silymarin, milk thistle, it's liver support. Firstly, I don't need liver support because I'm not taking anything that's bad for the liver. But secondly, it's pretty weak. compared to the price. Like, it's not that cheap and it doesn't really do much. Citrus bergamot I removed because of the price. The price is outrageous. It costs like $40 a month to run this. $30-40 a month, ridiculous. Because the ezetimibe costs like $5 a month to run, and it's more effective. So I can just save like, what's that, like 6 times, 7 times the amount of money, like 7 times less money for more result. So it makes no sense to be using this. Tudka I removed because I figured out on the blood work that the liver is not getting impacted by anything in a bad way. Tren is not toxic to the liver. Testosterone is not toxic to the liver. I mean, Tren maybe would be in a high dose because of the oxidative stress, but in my low dose and with the antioxidant to support like the NAC, the liver, the GGT was amazing. Like, my liver is incredible. So looking at the blood work, I figured out it's a waste of money to take Tudka because I'm not taking any orals or anything that's bad for the liver. Vitamin D3 and melatonin I was explaining in the previous video. DHE I haven't started, haven't tried yet, and Accutane I explained before. So that's the current situation, the things I will be adding in future, the peptides, the Tren with the additional support, because the mistake I made with taking the Tren microdose the first time is that I thought in a microdose it would not impact sleep that much, which was a big mistake. It really fucked up the sleep, like the sleep is really cooked on Tren, even on a microdose. Everything else was fine, but the sleep is like not the best on Tren. So the next time I will be using Tren, I will not make that mistake, and I will have the trazodone from the start, and probably try to find seltorexant. Seltorexant will be better than lemborexant because they work on the same orexin 2 receptor, but seltorexant has a shorter half-life. Because apparently lemborexant has like 19-hour half-life, so it could be like making you more sleepy after you wake up, while seltorexant has like a 4-hour half-life, so it's like, should be better to get the seltorexant. So yeah, and the memantine, like, it probably sounds ridiculous, but in a microdose, just to prevent that calcium frying my brain, like, it would be a very smart addition to the stack. Because when you try the Tren and you see how you feel on Tren, you really can't say like, I'm never going to use it again, because you feel like it's so incredible, like it's so insane. Like, people who are hating on microdose Tren, they never tried it before. Because sure, you can hate on a high dose of Tren because it has so many side effects. It can make you fucked up in so many ways. But in a microdose of Tren, like 50 to 100 milligrams a day or something like that, it's so incredible. The energy is insane. The motivation, like how you feel, the confidence, how you fuck is out of this world. Like, it's insane. It's generally insane. And like how you look as well. Like, you look in the mirror, like, holy shit. So when you experience those things, it's impossible to say, I'm never going to use it again. It's just impossible. Like, I would rather live 40 years on Tren than 80 years without it. Like, how incredible you feel. Like, just trust me on that one. I mean, unless you respond poorly. Like, I guess some people respond poorly and then they feel like shit and they don't want to use it again. But for me, I felt incredible. Literally everything except sleep was completely fine and incredible. Just sleep is a bit fucked up, but there is ways to fix it that we discussed here. So using some of the stack here, some of these things to prevent the neurotoxicity, and I have everything else preventing the oxidative stress from making any kind of damage, and all the support for the lipids, like all of these things. Like, now some of them might think like maybe what's missing is like heart support additional, because a lot of people that are using even microdose of Tren, they are using things like nebivolol in a microdose or telmisartan. But for me personally, how healthy I am with my diet, my sleep, low stress, all of these things, my electrolyte balance, my blood pressure is perfect. So there is no reason to be worried about like, is my heart gonna get fucked? It's not, because my blood is not too thick. It's not thick at all regarding the blood work that I did. And my blood pressure is completely normal. So when we look at those two things, and my heart rate as well is not high at all, like my resting heart rate is completely normal. So when we look at those things, we can see that my heart is not getting fucked in any kind of way. And the dose is not high enough to just cause the hypertrophy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. See you in the next one.